reflecting back on some of our recent conversations, because we can't let them just pass by without talking about the nuggets we've learned. Talking about, new word here on the Brewmance. Thanks for hanging out with us here on 550 KFY and on the podcast. My name is Rob Hunter, joined as always by Mike Russell. And of course, each week we grab a beer as we have well-crafted conversations over a drink or two. The whole idea is to bring people together. Mike, what are we drinking today?
Green Flash Brewing out of SoCal. Their So Style IPA. So obviously, I'm a fan of Green Flash. They haven't let me down yet. And Soul Style just sounds cool. It's just got that Southern California vibe. And now that Intern Beans is addicted to surfing, I'm like, this kind of fits in the whole theme we got going on. You know, I had to buy her a car. I had to buy her a car that would fit a surfboard. And at least 3 dogs. So those were her requirements, and we met them. We met them both. So
that's good. But see, I like that those are the requirements. It wasn't like, okay, it has to have leather seats, heated seats, cooled seats. It's like, no. Room for a surfboard, room for 3 dogs, so I can take them out to the park or whatever.
I had to talk her down from the worst of the worst. She wanted the most beater truck she could possibly imagine. She wanted just nothing but metal and a steering wheel and a motor and 4 wheels. And I'm like, I need you to be a little safer than that.
Yeah.
Sister. Yeah.
We can't have you breaking down the side of the road with a truck that has 7,500 million miles on it. I was going to say 752,000 miles on it, but obviously my brain is not working quite yet. That's why I have beer. It will get me going.
I was actually out on a bike ride Sunday. This was last Sunday. Yeah. And I was running through the neighborhood and I saw a truck that I reminded myself on the way back that I would take a picture of for our buddy Dennis Alonso from Mother Road. And where we went, I had probably one too many, and riding the bike back, I forgot. So this truck was made for him. I passed it up. I was like, that has him written all over it. It's a Ford. It's a single cab, 8-foot bed, rusted out. Looks like it has 400,000 miles on it. That would make that dude salivate. But now my eyes are kind of tuned to that because I was car shopping.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what I could, afford and what we could do that's safe and dependable, really.
And it worked out very well. It just takes a little bit of patience. And that's kind of one of those things that I think that we learned too in talking with Malcolm Alexander and Ryan Hale last week on the podcast. So they have their own podcast they just started called Unfiltered Gems. 2 guys that Mike and I have known for a little while that are just really good dudes. I think that idea of patience when talking to other people, when buying a car, when going out to eat right now, I think that is like one of the themes of this still in the middle of this pandemic world that I think I can reflect back on based on what you were saying, Mike, and based on what we said with discussing ideas. Be patient with each other.
And can I just surmise very quickly, and I'll dig a little deeper into the idea, but speaking with Malcolm and Ryan last week was I'm going to take this video, I'm going to show it to my kids and say, be that. I know you're being taught something completely different, that the world should be a different way, but I need you to be like these guys. I want you to be empathetic, understanding, powerful, in control, know that nothing's going to be handed to you, hustle every day and set a goal and go get it. Be that.
I love that. I mean, I think that's great because it's really about being the best version of you that you can be while trying to respect other people too. Because as you dig in, Mike knows I'm kind of, I don't know if I'd call myself spiritual or whatever, but I've kind of gone down this meditation road, trying to explore different avenues of faith and universal connectivity. And one of the things that you find out is if you accept people for who they are as they are, so whatever their opinions are, that is their life's journey so far. So for some reason, if someone has an opinion you don't agree with, somewhere along the line, they picked up that opinion. And it could be based on something they read. It could be based on a past experience. It could be based on, I don't know, it's family tradition to have this opinion. You just don't know in the moment. But it's okay because that's what makes us unique as human beings. And I saw something on Instagram just this week too. I'm going to pull it up real quick because it's one of these ridiculous frou-frou things, but it makes the point, right? We were all humans until race disconnected us, religion separated us, politics divided us, and wealth classified us. And if you think about that, in a way, we do that. It's like we want to segment ourselves as human beings in so many ways and be like, I want to be this and I want to be this. And I don't want to associate with people who do this or vote for this person or believe in this. And I'm like, let's take a step back from that and let's learn from each other and be patient, which is what we did with Ryan and Malcolm last week.
I actually saw you post that and I smiled and said, so true. Yet Rob being Rob. Yes, that was the post made for Rob Hunter and perfect. And it was very, very true. And you look at, when Malcolm said that he admired kids, that he looked up to children, and he looked up to that free spirit and that youth, and that they haven't been jaded and kicked in the pills by life, that they just be, and doesn't matter who's around them. Let's have fun. Let's learn and grow and be stupid and make big mistakes and get in trouble and not worry about the consequences. And I admire that. I admire people most that get to take naps every day, like Malcolm. So
that's true. This is one of the joys of being an entrepreneur, the way Malcolm has set it up. He gets up early, goes, works out, starts his morning routine, whatever he does for his business, and then he takes a little nap, and then he goes about his afternoon business. That's LIVIN right there. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
But to know that there could be 4 squares of video, and I encourage you to go over to YouTube and check it out, because to show you that there are 2 middle-aged white dudes and 2 young black men, and we have this laughing, fun, cool vibe conversation. It is quite literally the opposite of what you're being told we are as a we the people. It is the opposite, that we can't get along, that there's so much resentment, that we don't have open minds. And especially, you look at guys like me, middle-aged outdoor guy, hunting, driving the truck, and you stereotype me all day long.
Yeah. You are stereotyped by politicians all day long.
Yeah, not who I am. And that's they need that. Those politicians, as we say on Russell and Hunter all the time, they need that division for their own gain. And it's cool that, and I encourage everybody to watch the video or just look at the picture. It's really all you need to know. Look at the picture. I think Rob posted it on Instagram, that in a little segment from the show, we're just laughing, like tears down the face, laughing and having a good time together. It's really, it encapsulates everything that we did in that hour or so together. And it's the opposite. It's just the opposite of what you're told.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, is just that. It's the division for power is what we need to be aware of. And what I loved about Malcolm and Ryan, even though I'm sure we didn't vote for the same people, it doesn't matter, because we all realize that there's a problem in the structure of the power and how the power works. And these 2 guys understand that, particularly, there's a political party that is exploiting race for their own benefit while not giving any benefits back to, those inner city communities. Yeah, those that they exploit. So there is this, I do really believe that there is an awakening going on in this country, that we are coming to this point where people are understanding that politicians are not in it for us. They are in it for them. They are in it for their own reelection. And when I see Ryan and Malcolm say these types of things, both of those guys are under 30. And I'm like, oh, there is still hope left for American humanity with guys like Ryan and Malcolm out there trying to change the world.
But I think, Rob, what you just said was very impactful and very indicative of the programming that we're getting. Because, and I'm not talking about program. It's okay. This is not tinfoil. This is a real brewman's hat. Just don't worry about it. Just send us a message to see how you can get a brewman's hat. It's not tinfoil. But the programming that's going on is, you said, although we didn't vote for the same person, as if that means that now in today's world, that if we didn't vote for the same person, we're on different teams and we shouldn't like each other. We shouldn't love each other. We shouldn't protect each other. We shouldn't care for each other. We shouldn't root for each other. I think that is a huge, huge mental block that I hope conversations like that, conversations like this, can start to erase in our world. That it doesn't matter if you look, I've voted for Democrats before, and that shocks people. And that shouldn't shock you. I'm a small business owner that votes for people that are pro small business.
How about that?
Like Janet Napolitano. So I was a fan, and that was, people are blown away by that. And like, I was supposed to fall in line, and yep, I bought my F-150, so they give me a Republican registration, and that's all I can do is vote Republican. That's not Not how it works.
No, and then it shouldn't be how it works, and we shouldn't, segment anybody into that category, but we do. But that's what the Bromance is here for. That's what Ryan and Malcolm's podcast, Unfiltered Gems, is really here for, to explore each other's ideas without yelling at each other, without labeling, judging. It's just about, you know what? Let's have a beer or a drink, and let's crack open the beer and have a conversation without judging each other, coming back to that magic word right here on the Bromance that we're using this week. The word is patience.
Right.
Now, in a moment, you talk to Slavo Salt,
right.
about patience on a hunt that we want to talk about with you right now on 550 KFYI.
And this is Brewmance on the Radio, Arizona's only craft beer radio show. We have well-crafted conversations around some pretty darn good craft beer. Rob, what are we drinking?
Green Flash Brewing's Soul Style IPA. I can't wait to rate and review this towards the end of the show and podcast, because it's a different kind of IPA.
Huh. This segment of the show is brought to you by Slavo Salt Seasonings. You can find them at slavosalt.com. Use the promo code BREW.
Do it.
Yeah, and you're going to
get 15%.
You got to save 15% off your order. So slavosalt.com it's the best salt seasoning there is. The proprietor of Slavo Salt Seasonings, joined me on the Go Show, our other program celebrating all things outdoors in this beautiful outdoor playground of a state that we live in, just last weekend to recap his hunt that he had. We spent an hour with him. And this was one of my favorite conversations, because I just love the guy. I love his passion. I love his family, and obviously his product. But he
best
set
in the business,
out,
no doubt.
I
put it on broccoli, Mike. I put Slavo Salt on broccoli, and it's amazing because it makes broccoli taste good.
It makes Brussels sprouts taste good, and that for me is saying something. But don't worry, I put bacon in, but he set out on an 18-day hunt. 18-day solo-ish hunt. Every now and again, maybe someone would come out there and join him. 18 days out on his own. And he got the idea from a book called The Comfort Crisis. Rob, you read all the time. Have you heard of this thing?
I have not, but I know that Slavo is a David Goggins follower. David Goggins.
We'll get to Goggins in a minute. We'll get to Goggins in a second.
So I can kind of see where this is going. Like, challenge yourself all the time.
Yeah, like we've become just soft.
Oh yeah,
we've just become comfortable. Like, I had a conversation with my friend Ray, who was in from out of town this weekend. That's where we were biking to go see, 4 miles each way to go to a sports bar. I don't advise it in 90.
Even in September, it's not a good idea.
The camping chat is who camping chat is. He's going to make us do it. So he said, I just never been into hunting. I just never wanted to. He goes, I have something crazy. It's called a grocery store, and it's right down the street. And that's what I'm not calling Ray lazy, but that's the comfort level we've come into. Why would I even exert any energy to go out and shoot a bird or take a chicken or to take a cow or a bison or an elk or a deer if it's just right there? It's right there on the road.
Yep.
I can go get coffee. There's a Starbucks in there. I can sit down and hang out and then go get everything that you put all this time and effort into. And that's part of the comfort crisis. And he said, I'm on this. And then you read the Goggins book, which essentially is challenge yourself. I think what's the percentage of challenge you should expect? He said, challenge yourself to do something that only has like a 50% success rate.
Yeah, Goggins is crazy. So yeah. His book's called Can't Hurt Me. And the whole idea is to be so mentally resilient that no other human being can hurt you. And then you challenge yourself. So Goggins, the former Navy SEAL, he'll go, he started like running like 50 miles, 60 miles, 70 miles, 80 miles, 100 miles. And he'd go on these 250-mile runs because it mentally pushed him, and he'd have to push through the pain. The guy's nuts. He's intense.
Yeah.
So that's that kind of level of push yourself so that no one else can hurt you. Not even your own mind can hurt you. Like Goggins, like in the off season, he just goes and fights fires in Montana just because it makes him uncomfortable, and he's learning and he's growing and he's, in his 40s and he's doing these crazy things.
You don't?
No,
neither do I.
I want to, but I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. Mike and I have a nice talk show, 4 to 7, 550 KFYI. I like doing that. I mean,
nice comfy studio.
Yeah.
Speaking, but that last weekend, his mom watched the show. His mom watched online and listened to the show. And she's like, that Mike, I tell you, I know he's into rowing and I just want to get rid of my rowing machine. You tell him I give him to him for half price. And I got the new Nordic Track, big giant TV. The thing's got a TV on it bigger than the first TV I had in my first apartment. It's huge. And so I got that thing, and I got to tell you, and this fits in, trust me. So I was on Wednesday that I had my first row on this thing. And I've been rowing on this little cheapy $140 Life Track rowing machine for years. And Rob knows this. I've flipped the odometer on that thing several times. As a matter of fact, it was my second one. Okay, this is a real rowing machine. Because on Wednesday, talk about challenging yourself, I was dying. And I had this thing on like the lowest settings, the lowest resistance. And I'm like, this is not what I've been rowing around with. This is, oh my goodness. But I got excited. And part of the Slavo hunt and the conversation I had with him and talking about Goggins and the comfort crisis is I got renewed again. I got renewed into the more I do this, if I do everything I did with this cheap old thing where it used to kick my butt, and I get to the point where I'm just owning this machine, that you can imagine what shape I'm going to be in at like 46, 47 years old. I'm motivated out of my mind. And having this conversation with Slavo, going on an 18-day hunt and just being out there, man versus beast. He did not have a firearm. He was out there bow hunting an elk.
Wow.
And I got to send you over to the Go Show podcast or on YouTube. You've got to check this out. It's Go Outdoors with Mike Russell on YouTube. It's Rob and I's Outdoor Show. You've got it. The story of him finding success, and he does find success, and he finds it 6 days in. So there was 5 days of, okay, the clock's still ticking. Okay, here we go. Another night, another morning. We didn't see anything, didn't hear anything. And then it ultimately rolls out that the dang thing's darn near on top of him.
Woo!
And he's bow hunting. So you've got to check it out. And just what that did to him, that recharge that had, that tank fill of just male spirit. And, you know, we've spent so much of society saying that there's toxic masculinity, toxic testosterone, and the evils of being a man. No. Let me tell you this, there is toxic masculinity. There is. Just like there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol.
You think of like Harvey Weinstein type, right? Jeffrey
Absolutely.
Epstein. Those are toxic masculine men.
Exactly. Right.
Who exert their power over women all the time.
That's not even a man. That's not even being a man. That's being a toxic male. That's all that is. You're not being a man. Men don't do that.
No, exactly.
And so what you've done is you've taken the masculinity part of man and you filled that tank. You filled that tank, and Rob's going to experience that very soon. And I'm so excited about that because he's going on a hunt with me and I'm yanking him. Talk about a comfort crisis. I'm grabbing the kid by the ear. And I've really not. I don't even think I asked you. I more told you that you're coming with me.
What's the date that you're doing this? That's it. We're picking a date. We're going to do this.
Yeah. And it's just because I want you to experience that. Not that I need, I'm like, oh, I just need more friends to hunt with. No, I'm good. I'm good hunting on my own. I have my son, I have my daughter, I got my niece. I'm good. I need you, my brother, to experience that and to experience in a way what Slavo did and go back to our masculine roots.
And that's really what it is. And it's getting in touch with original man, as I like to call it. And I don't mean that in a male-female sense, but when we first appeared, evolved, whatever it is that actually happened, God put us here, we were like walking around like, what's going to kill us? We started from zero knowledge about anything, what plant would poison us, what animals are out to hunt us. And we had to figure out how to sustain ourselves. And whether you like it or not, life sustains life. And, you know, this whole funny thing about, you know, beliefs about animals and plants are alive too, until you kill them to eat them. Like they have the same life source. It's just a different manifestation as an animal. So we don't have the emotions attached to plants that we do animals, because plants don't typically move around and they're not cute. Yeah, exactly right.
You're not in Disney cartoons mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But if you think about how many, I'll just use my diet as an example. If I eat only plants, I'm hungry all the time. Without a major protein source, I am lacking. So eventually humans figured out that those animals that roam the wilds can be consumed. So that's what this is to me, Mike, is way uncomfortable for me because I've never done it, but it's about getting in touch with being an original person.
And how about a giant shout out to all those that have come before us that sacrifice finding out what plants
Yes.
we can eat? And I mean, you think about that evolution. There are people out there that are there thousands of years ago that just died eating a plant, and the rest of the people around said, nope, not going to do that again. Okay. Hey, we're going to go try to eat that animal over there. And it mauled and killed him. We're not going to put that on the hunt list. Okay, fantastic. Okay. Big shout out to those
Yep.
that have given the ultimate sacrifice so we know what to eat
For
and what to
knowledge.
hunt and what's
Mhm.
not going to kill us.
But see, that's that part that like we're all woven together, right? Because those are the lessons we've got to share with each other through the years, through the eons, through the generations, so that we know that, oh yeah, you don't want to eat that. Oh yeah, you don't want to do this. Oh yeah, you don't want to go there. Because all those things are lessons we pass on to each other. And that's ultimately what I still believe unites us. And that's what I want to talk more about, uncomfort in a moment here as the bromance continues, because I do think it is important to find things that make you uncomfortable and do. And I remember I forgot at the beginning of this year, I did a couple things that made me uncomfortable. We'll get into that next year on the Bromance. 550 KFYI. Get uncomfortable. You will reap the rewards later, and then you can recharge. It's the Bromance. Thanks for hanging out with us either on 550 KFY or on the podcast, wherever you get your Bromance fix. The whole idea, bring people together over a drink or two for well-crafted conversation. Thank you for being here. Each week we pick a beer of the week. I'm Rob Hunter. He's Mike Russell. Mike Russell, what are we drinking?
Green Flash Soul Style IPA. I'm gonna be honest. I'll say this. This is my second one. We usually have a tall boy rule on the show because it'll get us mostly through a show, but these are little tiny cans, so this is the second one of the show. There you go.
And here's the thing about beer and conversation. If you're engaged in a good conversation, the beer just is an accompaniment, and you sometimes don't notice how many beers you end up having because you're having such a great time and a great conversation.
And it can erase a lot of the crappiness of certain crappy beers. If
And
you're having a good conversation, you're with good people. Like when we said I'm with Josh Beckett. I am not a Modelo fan at all, but Josh Beckett was from Beckett's Table was a fantastic conversation. You know what it did? It made the beer taste great, and that's important to me because your surroundings, your company, are a lot more important, I think, than the actual beer itself. Beer complements a lame environment. The environment can complement a lame beer.
That's true. And sometimes you got to push yourself through those uncomfortable moments, right? In those situations to try to get to a better place. And that's, I think, what we're talking about with Slavo. We're talking about with drinking the beers. It's the unifier, if you will, because being uncomfortable as a human is something we shy away from. But that's where we learn the biggest lessons. That's where we get that comfort mentality from, Mike. You're like, okay, I feel great. I mean, think about it. We win the birth lottery. That was a term that Mike brought up many years ago when we started hanging out, because we're born in America. We automatically, no matter where you're at in American life, you have a better life than most every other human being on the planet.
Yes.
So let's start with a little gratitude. And let's start with that also comes with a certain amount of comfort. So let's get uncomfortable like we were just talking about with Slavo. Sometimes you got to go earn your food, if you will. You got to go hunt. You got to go learn that process, because thousands of years ago, and it wasn't even that long ago, let's say 250 years ago, that's how people ate. Grew their own food. They had their own animals. They hunted and they ate. And then we were like, let's have refrigeration. Let's have supermarkets. And it made us very convenient-based society. So it's good to push yourself.
Say it. Say the word. It's the S word. Soft.
We
made
wimps.
us soft. Period. It made us soft.
Yep.
You know how many people tell me I can't do what you do? I can't go. There's no way I could go out and hunt something like that. There's no way. Which I know in my mind they can, 100%.
Sure.
I don't believe what they're saying. It's that they just have that mental block because they got soft.
It happens.
That's all there's to it. I mean, I can talk like a grown-up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not hard to get uncomfortable. All you got to do is start small. Like, I wouldn't recommend doing the Slavo thing if you've never hunted. Like, all right, I'm going on an 18-day hunt in the middle of the forest in Flagstaff.
No.
Not a good idea.
No.
You ease your way in.
Yeah.
You go camping for a night on the rim. And you go, okay, I camped. I slept in a tent. I brought some food. I grilled it. I learned how to do it. It was great. I didn't sleep great because I was worried bears are going to eat me, whatever the case may be. And you're like, okay, I tried it once. And even if you don't like it, try it again. Yes. Go for 2 nights next time and go, okay, I'm going camping for 2 nights instead of just one.
Well, we did this. I just booked a 3-day 2-night river rafting trip here in
Oh,
Arizona to see parts of Arizona that no one gets to see. It's going to be fantastic. But there's going to be 7 of us, and I knew that 2 nights of rafting would push at least a couple of them to their complete limit. That would be the furthest they could go. And I will be the biggest flag waving, high fiving, championing, excited, throw them on my shoulders. You did it kind of guy when it's all over, because they don't think they can do it. They're about to find out they can,
mm-hmm.
and they're going to want more. They're going to want that 5-day, 3-night trip next time. They're going to want to go a week next time. They're going to want to go all in because they didn't know they could do it. So when I said soft, the word soft essentially means the doubt in yourself. Not
Oh
that
yeah.
you're a cream puff that can't do something. That softness comes from your belief in yourself.
No, and what a great way to put it. I've never even thought about it in that context, Mike, but it is because we all have it. Every single
Mhm.
human being has self-doubt from some
Yep.
past experience where you supposedly learned some lesson, someone told you you weren't good enough, so you still hang on to that belief. And that's really your ancient brain. And this is why it's interesting to get in touch with the ancient humanity in us, because that ancient brain is still a part of us, that brain that is driven by fear, driven by survival, because every organism that's alive essentially is trying to survive.
Mhm.
So that includes us. That's why we love this comfort life, because we're like, ooh, we get to live a nice long life, pretty comfortable life. But getting in touch with that primal instinct that we all have as humans, that primal instinct to tap into, living under a tree like we used to, or in a cave, or in our case, is a tent, is just it can be a spiritual experience that you can basically link past generations to you in that moment. I mean, look, my last name is Hunter. It's Hunter for a reason. I
Yes.
have hunting in my ancestry, in my DNA. So in a week, we're going to go do this. We're going to go get in touch with my ancestral DNA, which is
Yes.
super interesting because it makes me uncomfortable because I've never had to do it. But that being said, there's also a recharging effect to doing these things, to living like an original human, to say, I'm going to go stay in a tent. I'm going to go hunt, and not just hunt to just kill, but to sustain life, to
Mhm.
take care of your family, to say, look what I just did. I just helped the family survive for another couple of weeks.
I think it's once again, it's not replacing the soft, it's hardening the soft. And in I'm trying to think of a cooler way to say it, but hardening the soft, I guess that's what I'm going to go with for now until I think of a better way to say it. But Rob, you did that. I mean, you pushed yourself in 2 things earlier this year that you mentioned that you didn't think you would be all about.
Yeah, one of them was not drinking for 60 days.
Yeah.
It started as a 30-day, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do 60 to see if I can do it. And
I
I
hated
did it.
every 60 of those days. I'm just going to
Yeah.
just throw that out there as a friend and a business partner in the brewmance. I'm just going to
But
say.
it was interesting to do because, I was trying to figure out what my natural inclination is to go and drink because it's so easy to do because it's always there. So to say, okay, it's always there, but I don't have to, that's just a little victory that you get to say to yourself that, aha, I am stronger than my urges or because it's there or the comfort or the convenience. And that was the big learning lesson out of that. And what was the other thing I did? I can't even remember at this point. It's so long ago. It seemed like it was so long ago.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, I went the opposite. I went the opposite a little bit. I went to I was a person who never vacationed ever.
Mm.
I didn't want to. If my parents vacationed, it was we're working while we're vacationing. It was constant vacation, and I mean constant work, no vacation. And so I just adopted that. It just go, 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 always go, never stop, keep moving forward, just do everything you can do to advance whatever you're doing, whatever the cause. And then I met Rob. Rob likes to vacation.
True story.
Rob takes vacation very seriously, and vacation at work and vacation time is something that is very important to Rob. And I was like, it was kind of a punchline for a long time until I went on my first big vacation. I actually took a vacation. I was forced by iHeart because iHeart said, this stuff doesn't carry over. You've got to take it, dude. And I'm like,
use it or lose it,
I'm like,
sister.
this is a little uncomfortable for me. I think I'm breaking out in hives at this point. And Rob, I remember getting ready for it. Rob was like, man, I'm proud of you. And I'm like, what are you proud of me for not working? This is just silly. This is absolutely silly. This is goofy. And I went on this vacation. I was so recharged. And my soul felt so good. I had so much more energy. And I think I was better when I got back. And then I found a belief in the power of really taking some time to just recharge. As cool as it is that we get to do what we do, and as fun as it is doing what we do, we work really hard. It's not easy. So getting that break, and something that my man Rob encouraged me to do, is something that changed me and it's made me better. I think taking those breaks and recharging is so much. It's worth it. It's worth it. Never let your vacation go to waste, ever.
No, and that's a funny thing that you mentioned that, because I am known as the vacation guy. Well, Rob goes this vacation. I'm like, yes, because I used them all. Because number one, from a philosophical standpoint, you're not paying me to work when you're paying me to be off. So the essential agreement is, I get paid to work 48 weeks a year. So basically, you pay me to work 48 weeks and you spread the payments out 52 weeks. So from a philosophical level, aside from the benefits of unplugging and not having to read the news every second, not worry about every breaking news story, because that does something. It takes something out of you that you need to get comfortable with just being. And I think that's the part that I'm coming to terms with. Just being. And just, even if it's just sitting with Lady Brumance and just being with her, even if we're not talking, it's the fact that we're being and we're being together. That's the part that is recharging, because you're putting all your attention on the moment, not what you got to do next. In a moment, speaking of next, is America going to change forever? Is that a good thing? We'll talk about it here on the Brumance. 550 KFYI.
One of the biggest questions in all of America right now, honestly, is will we be okay? Welcome to Brewmance on the Radio, Arizona's only craft beer radio show, gathering around well-crafted conversations, around well-crafted beer. Rob, what are you drinking today?
Green Flash's Soul Style IPA, 6.5%. We'll rate and review this for you in just a couple of minutes, see how it is here on the Brumance.
Before we jump in, we're not going to get political here. I'm gonna lay the groundwork here. And this is a firm belief that I have. I believe that 80% of we the people are where common sense lives. I think there's 10% on the right, 10% on the left that make the most noise and get the most headlines. And that 80% goes, is that really what this country is doing right now? Is that really how we feel or how we should feel? It's not reality. Reality is common sense people like us that have good conversations and aren't afraid to have conversations. And one of the conversations is, though, but there's still political leanings. Let's just say that. Are we going to be okay? Is one side going to take over? Is one side going to obstruct? Is this nation going to implode? Here's your answer quickly, and we'll discuss. No, it's not. And yes, we will be okay. We are America. We have seen things like this. We have dealt with world wars. We have rebuilt. We have been knocked down and rebuilt, because we the people. And understand, we are a nation that was founded on this, the drink. Our founding fathers got smashed debating what this country should be. And they built a document, whether you like it or not, they built a document that has stood the test of time. It stood over almost 2.5 centuries right now, just talking over drink. And that is what we still do as a society. Therefore, that's my vote. We're going to be all right.
Man, I think we got to be wise about our choices, though.
Okay.
Because I think that in the current world we're living in, we're facing short-term convenience, going back to our word convenience.
Right.
Because the short-term convenience is comfortable. I'll explain in just a moment.
Okay.
Versus long-term freedom-preserving ideas. So right now, a lot of people are scared, right? Scared of getting COVID, scared of breakthrough cases, scared of dying, scared of media manipulation, political manipulation, whatever.
Yeah.
So I bring this up because freedom is a long-term play. You have to protect your freedom long-term. My number one belief in the entire world is that we are born meant to be free. The reason why God intended us to be humans is to be free, not to be controlled by other humans, not to be controlled by a power structure. And if we give into fear, if we give into manipulation, emotional, informational manipulation, which is 100% happening at the powers of government, we could fundamentally shift this nation to not value freedom as much. Now, it's a slow erosion, right? Because you found this country and eventually takes place in 1789. It's as free as it could possibly be. Because once you create it, the government, the power structure portion of it works against that freedom.
Yes.
So it's 250 years. It's been this constant erosion. I do believe, Mike, that we're on this precipice, that we have to make a decision. Do we want short-term comfort, which doesn't provide security, which so many people think it does? It does not. Or do we want to say, look, it's time to let people live their lives. We understand that some people are going to get sick. We understand that some people are going to die. People die every single day. It's part of life. Maybe it's unfortunate, but it's reality. It's better to live in reality than construct this fake reality where this fake power structure is going to protect you, but they won't protect you because they haven't protected us. And that's what I'm looking at. We just did the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. And what I did after 20 years of 9/11 is I'm like, okay, let's look at the government responses to 9/11. We ended up with the government spying on every single American. You, me, anyone you know, the NSA knows about. That's what freaks me out about short-term thinking, giving into fear of terrorism, fear of COVID. That's my worry. But I do believe ultimately that we, the people in America, do love this concept called freedom.
We do. And I think we'd fight for that. And believe it or not, really would, as comfort as we would. Talking about a comfort crisis a little earlier. I think we'd fight for that. And there's a fight. See, fight is a relative word. I'm talking about, torches and pitchforks back in the old days, or firearms in these days. I'm just talking about just you be what you need America to be. And this isn't a Michael Jackson moment, like starting with the man in the mirror. Or maybe you want to cue that music, however you want to work it out. That's fine with me. Maybe you want to add that to your playlist a little later. That's you do you. But if you want the nuclear family, if you want to get back to traditional American values, do that. And do that in a real way. And I think that we can do that in a real way. Not in a way that the media portrays that you need to, put a Gadsden flag out in front. I'm not talking about that. Live that lifestyle. Live the lifestyle of freedom. Be that. If you want to be a rabble rouser like the back in the old days, okay, that's fine. Or you can just start in maybe a little lower key version of that and start to encourage your friends to get out of the house and go have some fun and live some adventures like they did back in the old days, like I'm doing with Rob. I think being what you want the country to be is more important than sitting on social media, spouting off and freaking out to your friends. I read this and Rob said this and Mike said that. And okay, well then be not what Rob and Mike said and start your America there. And I think we'll be just fine.
That's very interesting too. It starts with you. It does. Because the easiest way to make a change, make an impact is with you. And then you influence others by the way that you're living your life. And then they're like, oh, well, what's Mike doing over there? Oh, what's Chad doing over there? Oh, maybe I can adopt some of their ways of life. And then I'll put that in my family. And then who knows what my family and who I interact with might be influenced by what I'm doing because of what Mike and what Chad are doing. So you see this as that American effect, that reciprocal effect, because there's only so much action you can take to control. You can only control yourself. You can try to influence others, but not by judging them. So that's very interesting to bring up this concept of the me part of it, because we all do play a role. Even though sometimes you feel like a cog in the wheel, it's 331 million Americans. You feel like you're just one of those, but that's sometimes all it takes, especially long term. So if you don't give in to fear, you win, we all win.
But what is your America? Your America is my America. Here's my America. I wake up with a really great family and a really great pad out in the suburbs. And I drive in, I get to do a freaking show with my best friend, my little bro. And I get to come home, hang out with my family. And on the weekends, I get to do cool outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
That's my America.
LIVIN.
Here's the deal. Why don't you not worry about what other people are doing?
Bingo. What they say, what they do, what they think.
Be the America you want it to be. And then don't worry about other people, and understand that the people you see on TV are not representative of America. We proved that last week with basically the opposite of how we feel politically or ideologically. And we had this great conversation. We had a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And by the way, even a generation behind us we're a lot older than those guys. And still, we just got together and had a good time. That's reality. That's the reality of America right now. And it isn't what you see on cable news.
And it's the one thing I think that seems divinely inspired in the world, like, right, as far as a country is concerned, that there's more to this than just humanity, that there is a understanding that all human beings are meant to be born free. And that's what is worth preserving.
I'm all about that. Yes, I wish I had a little flag in here to start waving right now in this
I
video.
know, right? So let's get out the soapbox and review these beers, Mike
I don't
Russell.
even know what song
Green
that was.
Flashes Brewing Company.
Hail to the Chief. I don't know what I was doing.
I don't know. We're going to start singing Lee Greenwood if we keep going on. So the Soul Style IPA from Green Flash Brewing checks in at 6.5%, 50 IBUs, which is International Bitterness Units, if you're following along at home.
Well done.
But, I don't, whatever. Who cares? We don't need to get into that. So, Mike, what do you think? It's a toast from the coast, they say on the can.
My notes are muted by the malt. So any IBU that are here, and it's in being an IPA, even a soul style IPA, and I don't know what that is. Maybe it's its own new genre, but it was malty more than it was hoppy, more than there was that bitter in there. And I didn't expect that, but I liked it. It was still enjoyable. It's still really good to drink. I'm not mad at this. It's got this. It's malty thick. Malty to me, I say meaty and beefy. This is a beefy IPA that doesn't hold a lot of alcohol, which is fantastic to me. So this is a good 8 beer for me.
I like that because I think that it's very malt forward, which has surprised me because most IPAs are hop forward. But the maltiness, you're like, wow. So I give them points for originality, for uniqueness. But it threw off my expectation. That's why I'm going to give them a 7 because IPA, I think, is a certain thing. Now, maybe we'll revisit this in a month or 2 or 5 or 6, and I'll be like, oh, now that I know what to expect from the Soul Style IPA, because it is different, because it's a curveball, the outcast of IPAs, if you will, I'm going to land you on a 7 for now, but Green Flash, I will revisit for sure.
And take it as a compliment because he mentioned Outcast while reviewing your beer. So please take that as a compliment. Yeah.
Greatest group of all time.
7.5.
So Green Flash, you do get a 7.5 with your Soul Style. His name is Mike Russell. My name is Rob Hunter. We do appreciate you hanging out with us. The Brewmance is available on Instagram, Facebook, and of course the podcast is available wherever you get your podcast and on the radio on 550 KFY Saturday night, 6 p.m. right here on 550 KFYI.
Cheers, everybody.